Hey, what's going on, guys? Travell C.W. Lynch. I am the possible. You are what's possible. And welcome to the premiere of the So What broadcast. Yes, S.O. Seeing Our What means seeing our worth. I want to welcome you guys into today's broadcast. I'm so excited. Listen, guys, if you are live or on the replay, as I always say, as I adjust this camera, as I always say, guys, your presence is the greatest present that you guys could ever give me. Doing some early morning adjustments. While I'm doing that, guys, let me say happy 4th of July to you guys, whether you got some homemade fireworks popping off this morning, or if you got the barbecue grill fired up this morning. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, listen, if you're rocking with me for any amount of time, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me and rocking with me this morning. Guys, listen, this broadcast is going to be a little different from what I do on a weekly basis, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I go live on Facebook. And, that's just my normal, typical kind of go lives on Facebook, guys. But this is more of a dialed in specific broadcast that I really want to dedicate like the majority, right, of my ministry, of my work, of my passion, of my joy really into, so that I can best serve, right? At some point, we have to create a space where we can truly minister, where we can truly tackle some of those deeper issues, some of those harder, challenging issues, and really uproot some of these things that we're facing in our society. So today, I want to share with you guys my why, okay? My why. Whenever you start something, whenever you begin something, it's always important to identify why you started, and then other people want to know, why did you start this? Where did this idea come from? Why do you do what you do? And I want to share with you guys something that I call the shame game. Okay, I'm going to be sharing with you guys out of my new book. Okay, what is enough? Okay, I don't know if you guys have gotten a copy of this or not, but this is not an infomercial. This is just being real talk, right? I'm going to be sharing some things out of my new book. I'm going to be sharing some things out of the Bible. I'm going to be sharing some things off the internet, right? We're going to be all over the place today to bring things together to really help you guys understand what this shame game is all about. Okay, so that's my why, the shame game. We live in what I call a shamed society. Now, shame is not one of those things that's very popular, guys. Shame is not one of those things where a lot of people like to talk about it. Some of the times, and as I get into the reading of my book this morning, some people don't even know how to identify it, right? They just feel some type of way about themselves, but they don't even know how to truly articulate it or truly address it in their lives. Okay, so I'm going to help you guys with that this morning, because there are more people that I believe know it that are facing and dealing with and struggling with shame in their lives. So this shame society, we have been conditioned to see our wrong before we see our worth. Okay, we have been conditioned from those formative years and those early years to find fault. I call it finding fault, fault finding. We find what's wrong before we find what our worth is. Okay, drop me a hashtag live if you are joining me live this morning. Let me know that you're in the building. If you are on the replay, you can also drop me a hashtag replay to let me know that you're in the building. Again, guys, your presence is so very precious to me, and I'm so grateful, guys, for anyone that's joining me this morning and rocking with me for this extended broadcast. But this shame society, right? I don't know what it is for you. I know some things that, I was facing early on in my life, and we're going to really start to dig into this in just a minute. But, one of the things, and let me just share up front, one of the things, because I got a ton of them, but one of the things that helped to cultivate shame in my life was my stuttering, right? Was my inability to pronounce words, my inability to start a sentence, right? There were certain letters and certain phrases and words that, for whatever reason, guys, I just struggled with getting it out of my mouth, right? And as we start to dive into this, and I'm kind of jumping ahead, but as we start to dive into this, we're going to understand that shame has a source. Shame has a start. Okay. And really, okay, I'm just jumping ahead because I'm just super excited. So let me just ease on down the road, right? And not jump ahead. So let me first share with you guys something out of my book, because I believe that this will set the tone, this will set the stage, this will help us to sort of identify with what this whole shame thing is this morning. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. And even as I'm sharing my screen, guys, if you are live, let me know that you're live. Say what's up to me. Drop me a hashtag live. Let me know that you're in the house. Let me know that you're in the building. I want to chop it up. I want to give some shout outs. I want to show some love to anybody who's jumping on this early morning, on this holiday morning, especially because I know we could be sleeping in, we could be barbecuing already, doing whatever it is that we want to do. But if you're joining me, guys, I want to acknowledge you and give you guys some love, because and this is something that I didn't share, right? But let me pause and say this. For as safe a space as I can possibly create, okay? For as safe a space as I possibly can create on the internet, right? On Facebook, right? Obviously, we're not going to be sharing too much personal stuff, right? But if you feel, if you're transparent like that, I would love to hear your stories. I would love for you to drop me a comment and let me know some of the things that you're struggling with. There's going to be a section in here where I'm going to be opening it up for prayer, right? If you have any prayer requests. So depending on how open you are to share, we can flow with that. We can rock with that, right? I'm a pretty open book myself. But I want this to be a space. I want this to be not necessarily a complete safe space, because again, you can only get so safe, right, on a public platform like this. But I want this to be what I call a sanctuary, right? A sanctuary for the shamed, a sanctuary for the successful, because as we begin to break this down, we're going to see how being extremely successful, being an extreme go-getter, being an extreme perfectionist is really a defense mechanism. It's really protecting us from that shame that we're experiencing. So again, I'm just jumping ahead of myself because I'm so doggone excited to get this out. I'm so excited to provide this value, to provide this information, to help, really unpack, right? And to really expose some of these things that we're all struggling with. We all face this monster, right, called shame, maybe on different levels, maybe to different degrees, but we all are born into this conditioning and this mental space where we fault find and we find what's wrong. I'll say it again. We find what's wrong before we find what is right or what's our worth in our lives. So this is the first chapter of my book, guys. It's called Sweat and Suffering. And I wanted to read this because this breaks down a quick story from me, typical day at the gym. And I came across this woman that perfectly illustrated exactly what it is that I wanted to target with my ministry, that I wanted to target with my work, right? She embodied it. And I want to share that with you guys because maybe you guys can relate, right? Maybe you guys can say, yeah, that's me too. Yeah, I can relate to that. So starts off, my shirt was dripping with sweat. My heart was pounding through my chest and my chin tilted up to the sky as I took long, deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. I had just finished another great workout and headed as usual to the hot box, aka the sauna, for a little R&R before hitting the showers and heading out. It was just another day at the gym, or so I thought. Before I could even close my eyes, an extremely thin and very talkative young lady started a conversation without any introduction or asking me whether I minded. It was as if she needed to share her burden. As she rocked back and forth next to the hot coals, she told me that she was attempting to sweat as much as possible because she needed to lose just a few more pounds to reach her goals. As she spoke, she vigorously pinched and pulled at her stomach as if to express her repulsion at the sight of her tiny 22-inch waistline. Now, that was an estimate, but she was extremely thin, guys. Her words took me by surprise. I couldn't imagine why she felt this way. Losing more weight was the last thing she needed to do. By my estimate, she was about 5'6" and could not have weighed more than 120 pounds. She then went on to tell me how she worked in a real estate office where she was a successful agent. Let me stress that. She was already successful, guys. She was already balling, right? She was a successful agent. She was currently pursuing one last certification. And once she got that, she'd finally be able to brag to her family and get this, feel good about herself. Those were her exact words. I don't know how much real estate. I don't know much about real estate, but my wife has her real estate license. And I know from watching her go through the rigorous process of getting licensed, that this woman already had really plenty to be proud of, right? She went on to share with me the stress she experienced, the stress, again, emphasis, the stress that she was experiencing due to the pressure from her older sister, who was very successful in her own right and was constantly telling her to be thinner, trendier, and more aggressive. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. If you're watching right now, drop me a hashtag aggressive. Drop me a hashtag aggressive. Let me know that you're, you know what I'm saying, trekking with me this morning. Drop me a hashtag aggressive, because we're going to get back to that in just a moment when we really start to break down this thing called shame, right? Okay, so, and more aggressive in the workplace. Her sister said that would ensure she could keep up with the millennials who were her competition. Keyword again, competition, competitive spirit. That's another mechanism. That's another thing that we do, right? To be able to block and to mask that shame that we're feeling. And this is all going to make sense in just a moment. As the woman continued talking, she began to pull at her hair, guys, and describe how stress has gotten so bad that her hair was starting to fall out. Literally. I could see the patches. When I was sitting in the sauna, you know, I could see the thinning. And she was doing this, guys. She's talking to me. I'm a total stranger. She don't know me from Adam, and we're going to get into him in just a moment, but she don't know me from Adam, right? And she's breaking this whole story down to me. She's telling me this whole deal, right? And it was one of those surreal moments, man, where she's pulling at her waist. She's rocking back and forth as she's telling me this story. She's pulling at her hair. This was real talk. This was a bad example. Like, this was one of those extreme examples of self-shaming, right? And embodying shame. So let me just finish this up real quick. Okay, so can you relate? That's the question, guys. If you can relate to this, drop me a hashtag relate. Maybe it's not this bad. Maybe you're not pulling your hair out. Maybe you're not pulling at your waist. Maybe you're not physically harming yourself. But can you relate to, I'm already successful, but I'm not successful enough? Can you relate to, I'm a go-getter, but I often become extremely aggressive when I feel challenged or when I feel like someone may get the step up on me, right? Can you relate, right, to the pressures? Can you relate to the pressures of other people in your ear, right? Can you relate to other people being in your ear and telling you what you need to do in order for you to ultimately, because this is where we're going with this, ultimately to feel like you're enough? She was already a real estate agent. She was already balling. She was already successful. She was already doing the things that she wanted to do. But if you notice, her whole focus was not on the success that she already had. That wasn't enough. It wasn't that she was even a real estate agent. That is an accomplishment onto itself, but that wasn't good enough. She was already thin. You know what I'm saying? She was already thin, paper thin. If she turned sideways, you feel me? Like, I mean, she was paper thin, y'all, but it wasn't good enough because she was embodying, she was relating that to herself. She was shaming herself. So drop me a hashtag relate. If you can just relate, you ain't got to tell all your business. You ain't got to put all your business out there, but can you relate, guys? Can you relate? Okay. Last thing here, watching her behavior and listening to her words broke my heart. She may have thought that she was just making small talk by sharing a few situations in her life, but what she really was doing was helping me see what she thought of herself. I'm gonna let that sink in. She thought she was just chopping it up. What she was really doing was she was helping me see what she thought of herself. She was helping me see what she saw, or a lack thereof. That's why I said the SO broadcast is about seeing our what we are, so that we can see our worth instead of seeing our wrongs, because this lady was caught up in seeing her wrongs. I'm dedicated to this ministry. This broadcast, this platform is dedicated to helping you see your what God created you to be and what you already are. Instead of fault finding, you're going to find your value and your worth by rocking with me and rocking with this broadcast. So let me continue, guys. Let me continue. It says her beliefs were choking out her confidence, suffocating her sense of significance, and stealing any satisfaction she could have in herself. I was witnessing a woman suffering from something with which let me raise my hand first. You know what I'm saying? If I was watching this broadcast, I would have been put a couple of hashtag I can relates. Okay, because I can relate to that. I was witnessing a woman suffering from something with which I grappled for years, and many others still do. It's called deflation. I call it deflation. It's the shame game. It's the shame game. It's shame. It's the emotion known as shame. I'm just giving it the name deflation because of the way that I usually illustrate it. I don't have my balloon with me today, right? But if you can just imagine with me a balloon. In the beginning, God blew the breath of life into us and we were expanded. We were inspired, the Bible says, right? We begin in our culture, in our society, and it's like someone taking a pen. And you know how you can tie up a balloon, right? And you can either pop it with a pen and it just explodes, right? Or you ever take a balloon and kind of pull it by where you tie it and maybe bite off a little hole or put a little pin in it. And now you can systematically, you can deflate it over time. That's why I use the term deflation, because we don't see it coming. Shame, we don't see shame coming up on us. We don't see shame gripping us. We just, it's just kind of what we do. And things happen. And all of a sudden we're deflated. We used to be right inspired, and we get smaller and smaller. And the view of ourselves, it just keeps shrinking and shrinking. And we just keep looking and feeling and being smaller and smaller to ourselves. It says in her mind, everything that made her anything was somewhere out in the future. Can you relate to that? I know there's a lot of questions that I'm asking this morning, and that's on purpose, guys, because I don't want to just get on this live on these Saturday ones. OK, I want to take my time with this. Right. If you don't have all day to, stay on here, I totally get it. You got things to do. Totally. Listen, that's why you can watch the replay. Right. I take no offense if you can't watch this long of a broadcast. I get it. I just want to put this out there, this content out there, so that people who are looking forward can take the time to sit down and to really digest it and really put these things to work in their lives. It's time to expose this enemy. It's time to shine some light right in these dark places and let some people know what's going on. OK, so in her mind, everything that made her anything was somewhere out in the future. Can you relate to that? Is your sense of worth and significance, is it in a future achievement, a future goal, a future thing that you're going to do one day? Or is it right now? Do you already have it right now? If you got it already right now, if you're not dealing with shame and you accept and appreciate and you totally believe that you are enough right where you are, drop me a hashtag enough. Right? This ain't just about the negative side. This is about the positive, because I believe that there are those of you out there who, hey, I'm enough. Hey, I'm good, right? If you're out there and that's your testimony, drop me a hashtag enough. In fact, if you're someone who's already believing that you're enough, I want you to share this broadcast, because I trust you. Listen, trust me. There's not many of you out there. There's not many of you out there. So do me a favor. If you would, share this broadcast, because I believe, listen, not only do I believe, but I can promise you that there are friends on your timeline or friends in your life, in your church, on your job. They're this woman right here. They're not where you are. They're this woman right here. So somebody might need this word. Somebody might need this message. And I would greatly appreciate it if you would share the broadcast out. And you can do that if you're live or on the replay. And I would greatly appreciate that. Okay. In her mind, everything that made her anything was somewhere out in the future. It was something yet to be achieved and attained. It was to be achieved and to be attained. It was something outstanding, something she had to do. Last one I'm going to read, and then we're going to break off into this next section. That's deflation, y'all. The burdensome belief that my worth is something for which I work and must be earned with an exhausting effort. Are you there? You're working, you're grinding, you're hustling because you're trying to achieve enough to believe that you are enough. I hope that you guys are hearing me this morning. It's the idea that I'm not going to be enough until I do enough. And even then, it's going to happen someday in the future, but not now. Okay, that's what I wanted to read from my book. Okay. All right, let me get back to, and I should have took off I should have took off the banner. Somebody should have told me. I can't hear nobody out here in this cyber world. But I should have took off that banner. So I hope you guys could have, I hope you guys saw that, right? This whole broadcasting thing is going through different screens and all of that. I'm a work in progress, y'all. I'm a work in progress. And we're going to be talking about that. Be compassionate to yourself. Give yourself some compassion. Okay. So I didn't got myself all worked up. I got all hot and sweaty this morning because I'm passionate about what I do. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. All right. So we've read that chapter. Okay. So what is the source of our shame, guys? So we've broken down what shame is. We've broken down, and we're going to really get into what shame is, but we've broken down what it looks like in a person's life, right? An extreme example of what that looks like in someone's life. So what is the source of our shame? So again, I'm going to share my screen, but this time before I share, I'm going to close that banner down. All right. See, I'm learning already. Stay with me. Stay with me. Pray for it, brother. Help me out. All right. Let me get back to my Chrome tab and Genesis. All right. Now, I took a long time with that chapter, so I'm not going to take a long time with this. I'm going to just get right to it. Okay. You guys can always go back and read the entire chapter. Genesis chapter 3. We know the temptation, the serpent talking to the man and to the woman. Hey, eat this fruit. You'll be like God. No, I don't want to eat that. He said, don't do it. The serpent, the devil said, no, y'all don't get it. You are being, you are limited. You are missing something. You don't understand. God's keeping something from you. There's more that you can be if you just do this. Ooh, come on, somebody. Come on, man. There's something more that you can be if you just do this. Wasn't that what that woman was struggling with? And now we see it played out in the Bible, in the scriptures, right? Because in essence, that's what it's talking about. So here, verse 7, this is after they ate the fruit, the apple, you name it, you frame it, but they disobeyed. They took matters into their own hands. Okay. So picking it up there, it says, then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. The reason that I want to just emphasize this piece again, please go back and read the entire chapter, right? Because it really gives you a narrative of this conversation, right? And many times the shame that we experience in our lives, it comes through conversations with people, right? And they give us their opinion, or they talk down on us, or they say something to us, they make us feel some type of way. And then going forward, we live with this shame. Okay, so that's the whole conversation piece. But notice here, Adam and Eve, these original men, these original, mankind, they were naked before they disobeyed God. They were naked before they ate the forbidden fruit. They were naked before they took matters into their own hands. Once they ate it, it says, then the eyes of them, they were open, and they realized that they were naked. If you were already naked before you did it, and you're naked now after you did it, What changed? What changed? Right? What if right? My phone, let me just have an example. And my kids hooked me up with this dope phone case. So let me just display that and shout out to my family. That's pretty smooth right there, but that's really not the topic, right? I just wanted to kind of give a laugh break or something right there, right? But that was pretty dope, right? They hooked me up with a phone case, personalized. 𝐼'Amthepossible. But check this out, guys. If my phone looks like this, and then I do something, and my phone still looks like this, what changed? Why is it now that I'm sowing fig leaves? Why is it now that I'm doing something different? Why is it now that I'm concerned with, as the Bible says, now they're covering themselves? What transpired? What's different? The only thing that's different is the way that they saw themselves. This is where shame entered the world. This is the introduction. This is the source of shame. This is how shame got introduced. The only thing that changed was the way that they, and today, it still holds true. The only difference is the way that we see ourselves. Think about that. Think about a baby, a newborn baby comes into this world. It's curious, it's crawling, it's eating everything, it's putting everything in his mouth, it's jumping off everything. We got to teach it, no, don't do that. No, that's bad. No, don't go over there. No, don't. It's like parents, that's our number one word, right? If you're a parent, drop me a hashtag, I know it. Drop me a hashtag, I know it, right? That's the one thing we tell our kids. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't go there. Can't have this. No, 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 no. But they're so liberated. They're so free, and they're taught to be limited. They're taught to have shame. They're taught to be secluded. They're taught to not be free. The only thing that changed, right, between Adam and Eve in terms of their nakedness was the way they viewed their nakedness. Now, this is the way I like to see it. Right. I wear these glasses. These are some blue ray or blue light glasses so that I can see the computer screen. All right. And let me go ahead and stop. Let me go ahead and stop sharing here. See where I can go back here. Where is my stop share? Let me see. Maybe it's somewhere up here. OK, so stop sharing. Let me get back over here. OK, here's what changed. It's just like me putting on these glasses. Ooh, okay, I can't see nothing right now. Let me just be 100. I can't see nothing, right? I mean, I can see stuff, but it's blurry. It's blurry. I had these on. Ooh, crystal clear. I'm naked. I'm naked. It's all good. I'm naked. I'm walking with God. I'm talking with God. I'm living my life. Ooh, I'm naked. It's all gravy, baby. It's all gravy, baby. I'm naked, right? I'm naked. After this example, I want to give some shout outs and acknowledge some of these comments, and then we're going to jump into the second half of the show. But listen, I'm naked. I'm good. I see everything around me. It's all gravy. Okay, well, I took control. I took matters into my own hands. I took too much responsibility, because that's really what happened. We took responsibility for something that we didn't have to, right? It wasn't for us, right? That was God's responsibility. We said, no. Let me handle this. Let me do this. Let me become like you by my own actions, right? Okay. And that's just like this. Day one, everything's clear. We do what we do, and this is what happens. Now we can't barely see nothing. Now we can't barely see nothing, right? Now everything is blurry. Now everything is a blur. I can see the screen, but I can't read no words. I can't read not nan word on this screen right now. I got all these notes and banners ready to show you guys. I can't read nothing. If someone said, let's go to the next slide, I can't even help you. Think of that in the context of the way that we see ourselves. On Monday, we're naked and it's all good because we were able to see. On Tuesday, through disobedience and taking on things that we shouldn't be taking on, we put these suckers on, and now we can't see nothing. We're looking at ourselves. The same nakedness that was there on Monday is the same nakedness that was there on Tuesday. Ain't nothing changed about you, but now the way you see yourself has changed. That's the source of this shame. So ask yourself, what was it for you? What is it for you, guys? As I go into some of these comments, what was it for you? Right? Because we all deal with it to some degree. We all do. This is one of those things where it's universal, baby. You can't get away from this. I don't care who you are, where you are, which maybe you've been healed, maybe you've been delivered, but you've dealt with it. You've been challenged by some shame, right? Because we're going to break it down really quick. In the second half, we're going to get into, exactly what shame is, exactly where it comes from, exactly how to deal with it. And then we're going to wrap it up for today. Okay. So what is it for you? For me, it was stuttering and people made fun of me. So I felt shame. I don't want to talk. I read a nice portion of my book earlier, guys, on live broadcast. I don't know who's watching me live or on the replay, but today I'm able to read. I still stumble. I still get caught up. I still stutter to some degree. But listen, guys, shame is based on how you view it. It's based on how you see it. Oh my God, I pray someone gets a revelation today. Listen, this is about how you see it. My speech has improved, but I still stumble. I still stutter. I still get caught up, but I don't feel no type of way about it. In fact, if I get caught up, if I stumble, if I fumble on a word, it is to God's glory that I continue to do the things that he's graced me to do so that someone may see my faults and say, my God, this dude is fumbling and stumbling and he's still getting it in. This dude is fumbling and stumbling and he's still going for it. This dude is stumbling and fumbling and he's still going live every day. What's going on? What does he have working in his life? It is the love. It is the grace. It is the mercy. It is the relationship of God operating in my life. If you just want to know, that means I can fumble, I can stumble, I can fall 1,000,000 times, but I do not have to be shamed. I do not have to feel nothing about myself except love and appreciation and acceptance. Why? Because God does. Let me see some of these comments and say what up to some of these good people. What is going on? Mike Wilson is in the building. My man says live. Thank you for joining my brother. I want to say your name right, Kelly. All right. Good morning on live. I've been trying to work through perfectionism. Yes, I feel you. And shame of different types. Man, I feel you. Glad to hear more people talking about this kind of thing. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for that encouragement. I appreciate it. She says aggressive. Yes, Mike Wilson says aggressive. Cinda in the building. She says aggressive. Yes, yes. Mike Wilson says aggressive. Yes. Hashtag relate. Kelly says, used to be, oh man, that's a word for me. I got to look that one up. Let's see, anorexic over exerciser. Okay, I got it right. Anorexic over exerciser involved in lots of public creative endeavors. I feel you. See, that's that extremity. That's that being extreme. I get it. See, man, that's what's up. Thank you guys for sharing. It wasn't enough. Wow. She's relating to shaming herself. Thank you for being so transparent. I really appreciate the transparency, guys. That is so awesome. Cynthia says relate. See, people can relate. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy. People see your worth. Yes, absolutely. Mike Wilson says I can relate to the self-inflicted shame. Brother. Listen, man, I can too. That's why I'm doing what I do, bruh. I know I'm getting, listen, it's so many brothers. And Mike, let me give you a special shout out and salute for being a man worthy of raising your hand and saying, yeah, that's me too. Cause that's needed in our society. Too many men with our pride and we just protecting our shame. I get it, guys. I get it. Kelly says this is well written. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Cynthia says enough. Kelly says, I want to believe it consistently. Yes, that's the goal. Consistency that I am enough. All right. I'm going to get back to these comments in just a moment, but let me continue on with the information that I want to share with you guys. And then I'm going to come back and close out with those comments. Thank you guys. Keep them comments coming in. Keep them comments rolling. I really, really appreciate the engagement. That's what I envisioned for this time, guys. That's why, because I'm so animated. I get all sweaty. I get all pumped up. I get all excited. And I give you everything I got, right? But I'm already sweating. I'm already hot. And that's not fear. That's not nervousness. That's just I got the AC pumping, but the brother just getting worked up. So let's get back to the content. And let me go back to this comment, close down that comment. All righty. And what do we have next? Okay, I want to share my screen again and just go through these slides with you guys. If you are jumping on live with us this morning and I did not say what up to you earlier, let me tell you guys something, man. Again, your presence is the greatest present that you guys could ever give me. Thank you so much. If you are out there and you are rocking with us this morning, I want to give you that love and that shout out as I look for my PowerPoint. How come I don't see my PowerPoint? Well, let's see. Is this the PowerPoint? No, that's not the PowerPoint. All right, let's do this. Let's bring it back up. Screen sharing was canceled. All right, let's go back. And where is that PowerPoint? All right, what is shame? Got it. All right. Technical difficulties will not hold us down. They will not hold us down, guys. We will overcome the technical difficulties. We will overcome. There we go. Bam. All right, here we go. Check it out, guys. Check it out. All right, we're gonna roll through these, man. It is 7:37. This broadcast is about an hour long because again, I just want to take my time. Again, thank you guys, especially for those super duper shout out for those who came at the beginning and you're seeing this thing through. You are a soldier. So I super appreciate you guys, man. That's super double shout out to you guys. So let's get into this comment. Let's get into this content that I want to share really quick. So what is shame, guys? Shame is the feeling that there is something basically wrong with you. Did you know that? It's not something wrong like exterior, but there's something wrong with you, the individual. The feeling of guilt is about doing something wrong, whereas shame is about being wrong at the core. And I really found that interesting. Because as we go back to Genesis, they saw their nakedness and they began to sew the fig leaves together. They began to try and take control of the situation. They tried to cover themselves up. They were looking at themselves at the core. I am naked, not just like naked is a part of my situation, but they were looking at themselves like there's something wrong literally with me, guys. That's how deep shame goes. The feeling of shame comes from the belief, this is a belief system, that I am basically flawed, inadequate, wrong, bad, unimportant, undeserving, and our favorite word, not good enough. That's what we're dealing with, guys. That's what we're dealing with. When it comes to shame, that's what we're dealing with. It's a belief system. And with any belief system, here's the good news. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag early. Here's the good news, guys. With any belief system, you can change it. Any belief can be changed. All right, let's go to the next one. Where shame comes from. At some early point in our lives, most of us absorb this false belief that causes the feeling of shame as a result of not feeling seen, loved, valued, and understood. We developed the belief that we were not being loved. And this is the key. I'm not being loved because there's something wrong with us. Ain't nothing wrong with you, but it's the way that you see it. It's your perspective of it. I'm not being loved by my father. Must be something wrong with me. My mother ran out on me early. Must be something wrong with me. I can't get a friend at this school. That no one loves me. No one accepts me. No one likes me. That was one of my other ones as well. I was always the outcast. I was always not welcome in the group. What if y'all not welcoming me into your group? Then there's something wrong with me. See how it's always diverted back to you? Maybe the group are full of prideful, arrogant, self-seeking knuckleheads, and ain't nothing wrong with you. But shame is, if you don't accept me, I'm the problem. It's always, I'm the problem. And the truth is, you're not the problem. You're not the problem. Here's the truth. I'm going to jump ahead again. Here's the truth. The truth is, you're dealing with the reflection of their shame. And I'm gonna get into this in just a moment, but you're dealing with the reflection of their shame. Why? Because shame gets played out in like one of two major ways. But one of the ways is, let me control the situation. Let me control the narrative. Let me control what's going on. Let me control the environment. Let me control the competition. Let me control things in my life. And if I can just control things in my life, then I won't be embarrassed. I won't feel inadequate. I won't feel the shame. Why? Because I'm in control. Adam, Eve, what did they do? I'm naked. I'm going to sew fig leaves together. I'm going to cover myself. The first thing they did as a result, or the first result of them feeling shame was them attempting to take control. I'm going to sew some things up for myself. I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to cover this up. Oh, no, no, no. Ain't nobody going to talk about me. Ain't nobody going to shame me. I'm going to cover myself up, guys. It's always trying to take control. So if you didn't get into that club like me, if you didn't get into, you weren't welcomed into that group like me, it wasn't nothing wrong with me. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I was dealing with their shame. They needed to control who got in and who didn't. They needed to control what that group looked like. They needed to control that situation. And I was just the quote victim of their shame. All right, let me move on. What makes us feel shame? Shame will be felt, because shame doesn't always like happen like all day long, right? For many of us, unless it's chronic, shame isn't something that we just go around all day long, like wallowing in. Shame, like, it like pokes its head up, right? In moments. Shame will be felt when we anticipate being viewed the way other people see us, viewed as lacking or inadequate in three areas. In our intellect. You ever been in school and somebody call you dumb, or you stumble over a word like me and stuttering? Oh, you stupid, right? So they're challenging my intellect or my appearance, right? For those of you who don't know, I believe it was through elementary through middle school, my grandmother's made my clothes, right? I grew up with a seamstress. My grandmother sewed, handmade my clothes, and many of them was pretty dope. Like my like custom made, like my clothing was pretty dope, but it didn't have a tag on it. It didn't come from Macy's. It didn't come from, wherever you buy, like it didn't come from the mall. Kids will come up from behind me and grab my collar, and they would look for that tag, right? Because these are kids in the neighborhood. They know what my grandmother does. So they already knew that there was not going to be a tag in my shirt, but they would run up in a group and they would grab it and they would flip my collar back. Oh, you ain't got no tag. Oh, your mama made that. Da, 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 da. My appearance, the way I look. Come on, guys. See, I ain't scared to tell it, because none of it matters to me. Like none of it. In that sense, like it's not going to stop me from living my best life. You feel me? Is now I've matured enough. I've dealt with it enough. I've confronted it enough. I've gathered enough information. I've wrestled with it enough to make it now submit to the truth of God's word and the truth of God's love and the truth of God's relationship in my life. And that's why I'm so free and so liberated. And I want to see that happen for so many other people. And lastly, their abilities. You ever, growing up, I played a little football. I wrestled a little bit, but like, I'm not one of those guys where I'm super athletic, where I've got like a lot of skill sets and I'm, dope with my feet work and things such as that. I share that because there were times where I would want to get on a team or I would want to be a part of something. And I would never go for it. I would never try out, because of my abilities. Even though I know now at 43 years of age, abilities and skills can be developed, right? They can be developed. But as a child, I just knew, listen, I don't have it. I don't look like them. I don't do it like them. I'm good. And that over time really isolated me. Over time, that made me very lonely. At times, that made me very discouraged because I couldn't get into a lot of things, guys, right? Can you relate? Right? Can you relate to that? Drop me a hashtag. I can relate, right? I can relate, right? Drop me a hashtag. I can relate if you can relate to that story. where you wanted to do something, but you stopped yourself because, hey, I don't have those abilities. All right, let me move on, guys. We're almost at our time here. Last one. Well, next to last. What is our normal response? Let me slow down. What is our normal response to shame? Number one, aggression. We become very aggressive. We want to control the situation. If I can get angry, if I can get puffed up, if I can get strong, if I can, look combative, then maybe I'll protect myself and you won't see the shame. Number two, achievement. Let me achieve great things. And this is where, in my promo video, I talked about this being a sanctuary for the successful, because I've learned to look into the eyes of successful people. And what I see in many of their eyes, not all of them, but in many of their eyes, that ain't satisfaction. No. That ain't satisfaction. That's shame. You're hustling, you working, you grinding, you busting your butt, you doing big things, you doing it big. You're succeeding at the highest level because you shamed, man, because you scared. That's just real talk. And this ain't about money and finances. Listen, I always say wealth is a choice. It's not about how much money you got. It's not about how much you balling, okay? It's about the inner dialogue. It's about when you go to bed at night. It's about laying your head down at night, right? It's about how you feel when no one's watching, when the camera isn't on, when no one is putting your name in lights, when no one is putting your name in the newspaper, when you're not online, when you don't have 1 million views, when it's all about you just by your little lonesome. It's about how you feel about you. And what I've discovered when I look into the eyes of many men and women, that ain't success. That's shame. And you are busting your butt to stay up, to keep up with the Joneses, to advance beyond the Joneses, to do everything that you can to look super successful. And on the inside, you're super shameful. Just saying. That's just real talk. And this is the place where I want to create that space to have that real dialogue, to have that real talk as much as we can online. I get some of this stuff is so deep. It needs to be counseled. It needs to be one-on-one. It needs to be in the privacy of a loving, nurturing, relationship and mentorship. I get it, but I had to start somewhere. Last one, guys, attainment. We try to attain. I got 1 car, I'm gonna need 3. I got 1 house, I'm gonna need 2 more. Right? I got 1 watch, I'm gonna need a collection of them. I got 2 pair of Jordans, I'm gonna need a whole wall full of them. I don't know what it is for you. I'm just throwing stuff out there that's common to me. I don't know what it is for you, but it's attainment. It's I got to get more. I got to gather more. I got to get more. I got to get more. I got to get more, because you're substituting. You're trying to make up for. See, if I'm strong enough, aggression, then I can protect myself from shame, right? Nobody will know that I feel this way about myself. If I can achieve enough, then all they're going to look at is my achievement, and they're never going to notice how little and small I feel about myself. If I attain enough, if I'm balling enough, then they're going to just keep looking at how I'm balling, and they're never going to notice how small I feel about myself. Does this make sense? Drop me a hashtag makes sense. If you're still rocking with me, I can't see the screen right now because I'm just on the PowerPoint. But if you're still rocking with me, again, kudos to you. Thank you so much. We just got 10 more minutes, guys. Just 10 more minutes. I thank you so much for rocking with me. If you guys are getting value from this, drop me a hashtag value. Come on, guys, drop me a hashtag value. If you're getting value from this today, give me a hashtag value. And again, share this broadcast out. Share this broadcast out. Let people know that it's available. Or even if you don't physically share it, because I know sometimes on Facebook we feel some type of way about sharing it. I get it. Because your timeline is precious. That's your timeline. Just let people know. Hit them in the DM and say, hey, man, that broadcast, listen, you might want to check that out because it'll help you maybe deal with some of that stuff. Hey, man, this dude Travell, he on Facebook every Saturday at 7, and they dealing with some real talk stuff, and maybe that'll help you out. Even if you don't physically share it, just share it. You feel me? However you can, however you decide to. But I just want to get the awareness out there, guys. All right. Last one. What can we do about shame? Well, we can choose self-compassion over self-control. Remember, guys, this is all about control. whether it's aggression, whether it's achievements, whether it's attainment. Those are all forms of control. Adam in the garden, I'm gonna sow these fig leaves. That's a form of control. So how do we begin to deal with shame? We begin with a conscious decision, a conscious choice to consider. Because I know that, listen, these things are not automatic. These things are not overnight, right? These things are not just like quick fix. So I just want to say the way that we deal with shame is by choosing to consider, choosing to entertain, being compassionate for yourself instead of trying to control the narrative, trying to control things, right? Have compassion on yourself. This is what I mean by compassion. For example, I just could barely get that word out. I'm live on Facebook. How do I practice compassion? Travail, with time, you're going to get more words right. Travail, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. But in that space, also understand they're not so concerned about your performance as they are your presence. They're not so concerned about you getting it perfect as they are about you showing up and giving your presence. They're not so concerned about you getting every single word exactly right. They just want to know that you care. See how I'm starting to rework that, how I'm starting to re-deal with that. I'm giving myself the compassion. I'm giving myself space to say it is what it is, and it's not a bad thing. In fact, if I look at it the right way, it's a good thing. If I look at it the right way, it can really help a lot of people. But it's this ability to not judge, to not criticize, to not alienate ourselves, right? Don't judge yourself. Don't condemn yourself. Stop putting yourself in prison. Somebody drop me a hashtag. Stop putting self in prison. That's a long hashtag. But if you do, I know, listen, matter of fact, if you drop me that hashtag, I'm going to find a way to bless you. A product, a service, something. If you drop me that hashtag, I'm going to find a way to bless you. Okay. Stop putting self in prison. Hashtag stop putting self in prison. You can do that if you're live or on the replay. Hashtag stop putting self in prison. Stop punishing yourself, guys. Practice compassion. Practice acknowledging whatever that shortcoming is, whatever that thing that people have judged you on, whatever that thing is that you believe was wrong with yourself. Practice saying to yourself, it is what it is, and it does not make me wrong. It is what it is, and it does not make me small. It is what it is, and it does not limit me. It is what it is, and it does not make me weak. It is what it is, and it does not limit my life. It is what it is, and it does not stop me. Practice that. Practice that. It just starts with practice. There's no magic pill. There's no magic trick. It's just practicing self-compassion over self-control. Okay, guys, so let me stop sharing there. Let me come back to the screen. Still got a few people rocking with me, man. Y'all some truths right there. Y'all some truths. I appreciate you guys. Listen, last couple of things. And let me say what up to a few more people. Raquel says, I want to believe. Okay, we already did that one. I want to believe it consistently that I am enough. Yes, yes. Cinda says, I wasn't always free from shame. It has been a journey to reframe or to reframe my mind to believe I am enough now. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the reconditioning. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Mike Wilson says, I know it. Yes. Joe says, stop punishing yourself. Got something special for you. Yes, absolutely. Kelly says, stop putting self in prison. Oh, that's dope. Thank you, guys. That's true. That is so true. That's a long hashtag, but thank you. I appreciate that so much. It says, it is what it is, and it does not limit me. That's empowering, man. Think of that. If you wake up with that mindset every day, that is what it is. My stuttering, it is what it is. You know, whatever, my background, my family, my whatever, it is what it is, but it does not limit me. It does not stop me, guys. Sherry says, stop putting self in prison. All right. All right. Thank you so much for that comment. Ramona says, blessings, brother. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Jojo says, stop putting self in prison. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up with two more things. Let me go back to the comments and hit JoJo again. Boom. JoJo says right. And let me go back here. All right, guys, last couple of things. Number one, workbook. Number one, workbook. On every broadcast, right? I used to fear telling people about the workbook on live broadcast because I felt like a salesman, right? I'm gonna just be honest with you. I felt like a salesman. I felt like if I kept telling people about it, then I'm gonna be salesy and all this other stuff. But you know what I found out? I found that was the way I was looking at it. And I'm going to be more concerned with getting it into the hands of people that need it and want it than I am what I think other people think about me. Revelation. I'm going to actually care more about helping than I am what I think other people think about me. It ain't even what they think, it's what I think other people think about me. So getting back to it, workbook, guys. I created a self-discovery, self-worth workbook. It is a workbook that I have used and I continue to use in my own personal life. And I want to provide that to anybody who is interested. All you got to do is drop me a hashtag workbook in the comments if you're live or on the replay. Hashtag workbook live or on the replay, and I will give you that link. It is a free downloadable workbook. It is full of assessments, information from my new book, just different insights that I've had, and some very special information that is exclusive to that workbook. But what it is it is a tool to help you discover self. The more we discover self, the more we discard shame. Okay. The more we discover self, the more we're going to discard shame, because you're going to begin to unpack and see what's really there. As I always tell you guys, the greatest form of self-development is self-discovery. The greatest form of self-development is self-discovery. And if we're going to stop shaming ourselves, then we're going to have to develop, we're going to have to condition and recondition, right, our minds to get away from, shame consciousness and into self consciousness. Okay. And so I want to help you guys with that. So if you do not have my free workbook, drop me a hashtag workbook in the comments and I will reply and I will get that workbook into your hands today. As soon as I shut this down, I'm going to be replying back to the comments, chopping it up with you guys, giving you guys some love. And I'm going to be coming up with something awesome to give to those people that gave me that super long hashtag, stop putting self in prison. So that was super dope. I thank you guys again. And again, live on the replay, if you drop me that hashtag, stop putting self in prison, I have a special gift for you guys. So hashtag workbook if you want that self-discovery, self-worth workbook. And I will give that to you guys today. We need tools, tangible tools that help us to self-discover. Okay. And then lastly, guys, prayer requests. Drop me a hashtag pray. Our country is in turmoil, man. We are in some chaotic times right now. We're in some chaotic times. And, this is the first broadcast. This is the premiere. This is the introduction. And, we have to work with each other over time. We got to get more familiar. And we may never get to that point where we can truly tell our business on this type of platform, because this really ain't the platform for it. But I want to, as best as I can, serve you and show up for you guys and create this space for you guys. So if you just drop me a hashtag pray, just hashtag pray. That's it. You ain't got to go into deep, right? You ain't got to break it all the way down. You ain't got to tell me all the details, because whatever you share on here, is being shared to the world, right? So simply hashtag pray. I am a praying man. Okay. I'm not giving myself kudos and all of that, but I'm just saying, even yesterday I shared on my broadcast, prayer is my it is my priority. Right. And so it is what I begin my day with. It's how I start my day. I get in time with God before the world, I always say, get with God before the world gets to you. Okay. So prayer is my priority and I want to pray for you. Drop me a hashtag pray. I don't know what you're going through, but I know, man, listen, with the coronavirus, man, with the Black Lives Matter, with, these cops killing black men, with the mental health strain as a result of these broken down relationships, like it ain't normal. Right. It's not normal for us to be quarantined and not being able to spend time with our family. Matter of fact, today, the 4th of July, come on, guys, how many of us would normally be with family members right? Lighting up the grill in the backyard or having people over for, whatever, man. It's not, this ain't normal, guys. It's a season. It has its time. It has its place, and it's going to do what it's going to do. But I just recognize that a lot of people are experiencing mental illness, mental stress, right? People are suffering as a result of the season that we're in, financially. You know what I'm saying? People losing their jobs. They're getting furloughed, laid off. The list goes on and on, guys. The list goes on and on. Shame is just one of many issues that are plaguing our society. That's my passion. But I just want to say, drop me a hashtag pray, because I want to pray for you guys. Know that I'm not going to just take this and say, oh yeah, so-and-so said pray, la, 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 la. I'm going to actually call your name out. I'm going to actually go before God, and I'm going to actually pray. And I'm going to actually believe for your best. And I'm going to actually ask God. I'm going to actually petition God to bless you and to provide for you and to heal you and to deliver you and to be there with you in these storms. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to pray for his presence, man, to really engage, right? To really envelope your life, man, to really meet you where you are. This is real talk. When I get on this prayer thing, listen, all this other stuff can come and go, man. But this relationship here, that's the foundation, y'all. That's the rock. That's the place of stability. That's the place of strength, guys. So drop me a hashtag pray. If you need prayer, if you just want someone else praying, if you just want someone else that is believing for you, that is supporting you, and you just want to know that you have somebody that's praying, I'm going to add you to a prayer list in my phone. I won't show it because it'll show everybody's name, but I've got a prayer list right on my phone. And, I go through the names, man. I go through the names every day. As I call them out, and I want to add you to that prayer list. I want to add you to that covering. I want to partner with you in prayer and make sure that you're encouraged and that you're met where you are. Right. OK, so I love you guys, man. I'm believing in you guys. I'm praying for you guys. So if you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Let me wrap up with some of these last comments before I jump up out the building. Mary says, amen. Prayer is my priority. Thank you so much for rocking with me, Mary. Thank you for jumping on this morning. My man, Joseph Warren says, amen. Prayer is my priority. Mike Wilson says, pray. Sherry says, pray. Mary says, oh my gosh, this is the first broadcast. Yeah, this the first one. This the first one. So if you enjoyed it, if it was dope, like I was asking people earlier, share me out, let the world know, let people on your timeline know. Point them in this direction, guys. Every Saturday at 7 a.m., I'm showing up to serve, man. This ain't about me. This is about me sharing what God has given me, because I've been through a lot, and I know that there's a multitude of individuals that have gone through the pain and suffering that I've gone through and still going through at some degree. And I just want to share and chop it up and collaborate and be there for you guys. So yeah, oh my gosh, this is the first broadcast. Say God is good. You are a natural. Oh, thank you so much. Well, this isn't my first broadcast in terms of like Facebook Live, right? Or teaching or preaching or anything like that. This is my first So What broadcast. This is the official premiere of this particular Saturday morning broadcast. But either way, that's encouraging and that's dope. And I thank you for it. I appreciate it, man. So that's encouraging, right? That inspires me. So that's pretty smooth. Thank you so much for letting me know. And my man Jojo says, I want to live free from bondage. Absolutely. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? Yes. And shame is a form of bondage, and we got to attack it, y'all. We got to address it. We got to look at it for what it is, and we got to come at it because it's coming at us. So we might as well fight back. Listen, guys, that's it, man. Let me get back to my outro, my intros, so I can end this thing right. Shout out and salute to you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. It's been over an hour, and whether you just joined or whether you were here from the beginning, again, your presence is the greatest present that you guys could ever give me. Thank you so much. I pray that you guys got value. If you're still rocking with me, drop me a hashtag value. Let me know that something I said, I shared, meant something to you, that value was given, right? That's my craft. This is my craft. And I want to get better and better at my craft, right? Of communicating the love and the acceptance and the appreciation of God. So if you got value out of today's broadcast, drop me a hashtag value. That lets me know that I'm improving, that I'm getting better, right? I'm a student of this game, right? And I just want to get better and better and better at meeting you where you are, adding value, serving you, and being the contribution that I believe God created me to be. You guys know. And let me end with this, because I'm, you know, as a preacher, I'm gonna end like 3, 4, 5 different times, right? But let me truly end with this. One of my core philosophies and core beliefs is that we were created to not simply make a contribution, but we were created to be a contribution to the betterment of our society. This is the avenue in which I've chosen. I encourage you to find your avenue. I encourage you to find your avenue. What is your contribution to the betterment of our society? What has God shared with you about you that you can contribute to the world? And the more you contribute, the more you tune in and dial into that contribution, guys, the more you're going to deal with your shame, the more you're going to rise above your shame, the more you're going to say it is what it is, but it's not going to stop me. This is Travell C.W. Lynch. I am the possible. You are what's possible. Remember, I help people to see, yes, see what they are so they can like what they see. And it is time for us to begin to see ourselves beyond the shame. Until next time, until next Saturday, love you guys, believing in you guys, praying for you guys. I am out. Peace.